Okay, welcome to the section in the training. We're going to be talking about selling to their values so that you stop selling for yourself. This is something that I think is so overlooked in sales, is that we want to write the script. We want to have a killer presentation. We want to know exactly what to say, when to say it, and have every sale be the same. But the thing is, they're not. The moment you start presenting in a cookie cutter fashion, whether you're trying to set a call for a closer or you're trying to close yourself, it's not going to work out as consistently as it should if you learn to sell to their desires and their values. Okay, so here is the first step to uncover their values and desires. And that is going to be understand what is valuable to them so we can sell to their values and desires. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be looking at in the beginning of our sales call is understanding basically why are they here? What are they looking for? Let's say you're selling flowers and someone walks into your shop and they are looking for outdoor plants, but you really just kind of specialize like in bouquets for wedding. The first question you should be asking is, do you know what you're looking for? How can I help? And if they go, oh yeah, I'm looking for palm trees and all you sell is roses, well, there's nothing that you can really do at that point. You could try to sell them roses, but they're so different, right? In terms of the functionality of a bouquet of roses for Valentine's Day versus planting a palm tree. So if you don't sell palm trees and you can identify that they're looking for palm trees early, well, then that helps the conversation or end the conversation because this is not a good fit. Now, if you sell palm trees and they say, yes, I'm looking for palm trees, then we can start looking for what is it that you're looking for specifically for a palm tree? What type of climate is it going to be in? Where is it going to be planted? Is it going to be indoors? Is it going to be outdoors? You can start asking questions around palm trees so that you can understand and start to uncover what their values and desires are to point them in the right direction. Now, the second thing that we can be looking at is their past experiences. So let's say that you're selling marketing services and you're an agency and a business comes to you and they're like, yeah, hey, we're looking to enhance our social media presence. We're looking to generate more leads to help drive revenue for the business. Totally understand. Ask a few more discovery questions in between, then you get to the point where you get to their past experiences. So the first thing you're going to ask about past experiences is, what have you done in the past to try to accomplish this? They're going to tell you that they've tried other agencies, they've tried running ads on their own, they have their own in-house social media manager or whatever it is, right? So what have you tried in the past? Second thing, why not just keep going with them? Get them to admit, well, the reason why we're not going with them anymore is that we thought cost per lead was getting extremely expensive and they were not optimizing or responding to our request as quickly as possible. Okay, cool. So now we know what they're looking for, why they're not staying there. We're going to ask them, what did they like about their previous experience? And then also, what would they change? Okay, so what did they like about their previous experience? Well, I like the fact that their creative team was really good and they're putting out a lot of very visually appealing ads. Cool. The fact that they told you that they like that means that that's valuable to them. They desire visually appealing ads. So when you get to the presentation, what do you think you're going to sell them on, right? We also say, what would you change if you could? Well, the fact that their communication really stunk and it took them a long time to produce a new campaign. Okay, so communication and speed are extremely important as well. So now we know, well, what are they looking for? Agency services, ads, social media presence. Why are they looking for it? Well, their current situation isn't producing the results that they're looking for. What do they like about their past experience or who they're currently working with? Well, their creative team is really good and they're visually appealing. Okay, and then they also want to change the communication speed and speed to execution on the social media campaigns. Okay, now we know what is valuable to them so that when we go to present, we go to sell, we can sell to their values and their desires and not pitch them a cookie cutter pitch. So many times people go, how would you ask them what's valuable to them? Ask them what's valuable to them. I don't understand this try to have these hidden messages in sales and try to subliminally get them to say something when you should just be straightforward. So John, before we move forward, what else would you say is important to you? What else do you think that you would need for your business to be successful? Just ask. I can't emphasize that enough. Stop beating around the bush and get right to the point. Ask them, what is valuable to you? What is it that you're looking for specifically? The second thing that's going to help align with their values and desires, and this sounds kind of funky, but it works really, really well. Analogies. So during your discovery process, while you're asking them questions, it's okay to slip in some personal things of like what it is that they like to do. Are they like horse riding? Do they like football? Do they like hiking or whatever it might be? Like trying to figure out just a little bit about them. Listen, you're not, trying to get their life story, but just getting those little interesting points about them helps build analogies and their desires. Again, let's use marketing services as an example. And my analogy that we're going to be using, I'm talking to someone who is a baseball fan. Okay, so I know what their values are. Their values are clear communication, eye-popping creative, speed to execution when it comes to new campaigns and turnarounds, and being extremely diligent on making sure that ads are optimized. And so when I'm going through my presentation, I could use, if I know that they're a baseball fan, maybe we use something along the lines of, so Steve, I know how important speed to communication is for you. It'd be like putting up a lineup card in the dugout that's blank, right? I mean, how frustrating would that be if you're expecting to, wonder if you're in the starting lineup or not, and the manager posts the lineup card in the dugout and there's no names on there? I mean, what type of signal is that sending your team? Well, not a very good signal. No, it's exactly right. Which is why we want to make sure not only are we posting a lineup card that has every single position filled out in the correct order, but we're also communicating with you before the game even starts on the expectations of what you can see moving forward by working with us. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, that makes lots of sense. Why does it make sense? Because he knows baseball, because that's what he likes. And so if we can tie in, again, horseback riding, hiking, baseball, swimming, their kids, weightlifting, I mean, whatever it might be, we can tie in analogies to make our presentation click with them, because if we can simplify this process and make it align to what they like, they're gonna understand it that much better. And it also shows that you were listening during the discovery and you just weren't checking boxes. So being able to sell to their desires, analogies play a big role in that, because we can simplify messaging while also getting our point across, saying that we were listening to what you were saying before, we understand your values and what it is that you're looking for, and I wanna make it simple for you to understand. All right, my third and final key here is going to be emphasis on importance. So what do I mean by emphasis on importance? Well, let's use our continuing example that you sell marketing services, okay? And as part of this, it is ads, sales, so sales coaching, and then you also sell content creation, right? So how to do it, you have editors, etc. And based upon our example that we've been using throughout this training video, we know that speed to execution is extremely important. We didn't mention anything about sales. We know that eye-popping creative is very important. And we also know that transparency moving forward is very important as well. Setting that lineup card like we use in the analogies. Now, if I'm going through my sales pitch and I know pillar 1 is ads, pillar 2 is sales, pillar 3 is content creation, and I really want to try to sell them and emphasize on sales, but I know that during my discovery, they actually have a sales team that's pretty darn good. Is that valuable to them? No. Is it something you should hit on? Of course, they should know what they're going to be purchasing. But when we're emphasizing on the importance, we have to go back to number 1, which is understanding what's important to them by uncovering that during discovery and also asking and being straightforward with them. So if we get to our ads part, we go, cool. So the first thing we're going to do here, Steve, is we're going to make sure that your ad campaign is dialed in. Analogies like we talked about. I know how important speed to execution is. I know how important boom, 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 boom is, right? Does that all make sense? You're asking good questions along the way. Great. Once we get them completely bought in onto the ad side of things, we can then go into the sales, if that's part of your sales pillar, and you can say something along the lines of, cool, now I know you got a team that seems like they're really rocking right now. So we actually have a feature where we can do sales training or done for you sales placement for new closers. So I know you guys are crushing it. I'm not going to beat you over the head with it, but I want to let you know that it's there in case you want to use it into the future. Do you have any questions with that? Okay, great. But if I'm going to sit here and try to emphasize sales training and closer placement and try to really get them bought in on that when it's not important to them, it's going to show that you're not listening. You can hit on it, be like, cool, hey, listen, part of working with us, side note, we also do X, Y, and Z, and it's there for your convenience if and when you see it's possible. But with your current state, it doesn't sound like you need it out of the gate. But we can always cross that bridge when we get there. Fair enough? Cool. Any questions with that? No? Boom. Done. Pillar 2 is done. We move on. Our presentation stays short and tight. And then we can get to content creation. So we know that creative, eye-popping visuals is very important to them. We can then hit on content creation. So Steve, you know how earlier you were telling me you really enjoyed your previous agency's content creation, the eye-popping creativity and visuals that they were creating that you felt like got some good traction. Well, what we want to do here is set you up with your own personalized editor who's going to be able to do that for you, but at a much faster pace. So we're going to send over some creative ideas. We're just going to need you to send over some photos, some very basic videos. We'll write all the scripts for you, and we'll get these things turned around 24 hours or less so that we have a library and a huge repertoire of creative content. Therefore, execution on the ads can be that much quicker. Do you think that would be helpful for your business? So that is how we are going to be able to walk through and sell and emphasize on the importance and also gloss over, touch on things that you also have that they may not feel important. So the last thing you want to do is focus on something that is not important to them and try to actually sell them on it. All right, so hopefully those 3 tips on how to sell to their values and desires helped. Whether you're a setter, whether you're a closer, these are the things that you should be focusing on your next call, on your next encounter to make sure you're putting yourself in the best situation possible, because the prospect is going to feel heard, because the prospect is going to feel like they're being serviced to at a high level and that they feel understood and you're able to actually sell to their values and desires. I'll see you in the next video.